Joining us now from Washington, we have Bloomberg News congressional reporter Erick Wasson. Erick, I appreciate you getting up. I saw you sending notes very late last night. We did offer to send you coffee, but you told us shockingly and very impressively that you've never used DoorDash or Uber Eats. I wanted to focus on that before we get to Congress, because it's so lovely.
As you can see behind me, I print books, so we make our own breakfast.
All right.
I do appreciate the offer, guys.
All right, we're very grateful nonetheless. Can you walk us through where everything is at? The Senate passed a version of this with an ICE carve-out. It went to the House, and then it went nowhere. The House has done something that's DOA in the Senate. Just please update us on what's going on between the two chambers.
It's an extraordinary breach between House and Senate Republicans. John Thune crafted this bill middle of the night, basically funding the full Department of Homeland Security for the rest of the fiscal year till October, except for Border Patrol and ICE and immigration enforcement activities. That passed unanimously on a voice vote. As soon as it got to the House, it was promptly rejected by the House Freedom Caucus, and Speaker Mike Johnson, who's always, trying to shore up support with different parts of his conference, went along with that Freedom Caucus demand to reject the Senate bill. Instead, they passed an 8-week continuing resolution for the whole department, but that again funds ICE without any new reforms that Democrats have demanded. And Chuck Schumer said that's DOA. So the standoff continues. Importantly, Trump has signed this memo paying TSA agents as soon as Monday, so that should alleviate the lines. But it's important to point out there are other members of the department, whether you're a Secret Service worker, human trafficking, people in the Secretary's office, people who are doing communications. There are a lot of people who are not going to get paid, continue to not get paid. It's going to become a difficult thing. This is over 40 days now, and they're going to be held hostage. I don't see the Senate and House coming back during this 2-week recess. I don't really see a solution anytime soon. The main thing they're going to try to do is this budget reconciliation bill and a massive package similar to the Trump tax bill, where they did put some immigration enforcement money, but they need all Republicans to unite. Everyone wants to throw their things in. I talked to a member of the New York delegation who wants the SALT deduction of all things extended again. So this is going to become a massive food fight, and these workers are going to be held hostage. Now, the president could try an extraordinary measure to try to potentially illegally pay those other DHS workers from this fund for border security, but I don't see a solution anytime soon that's really permanent.
You bring up the president, and I want to play a little bit of sound here of the president in Miami last night, speaking at that FII conference, addressing what's transpired here and also his relationship with the leadership in the Congress. Let's take a listen.
I understand John Thune and I understand Mike Johnson. They want to be sure that people aren't coming into our country like they have for the last 4 years. I don't want to say they've ruined it. They made my job a lot harder.
They've made my job a lot harder. The president there on the tarmac traveling to that conference. Erick Wasson, talk a bit about the president's engagement, not with this memo, finding a way to pay these TSA workers, but with this issue more broadly, and what that says about, even more broadly than that, the way that he's been interacting with this Congress and with congressional leadership.
I thought it was an extraordinary comment because it's almost like Trump was playing peacemaker between feuding, House and Senate Republican leaders, which I'm sure a role that he would enjoy. He is still questing after that Nobel Peace Prize, after all. But he's trying to, I think, in that case, smooth over differences. It's extraordinary that Speaker Johnson called what Thune did a joke, a ridiculousness. We asked him about it. He tried to sort of sidestep it and say that was Chuck Schumer who really engineered this. But we're trying to see what kind of long-term consequences of this rift will be. Can they do this new tax and spending bill? Are they able to unite in a midterm message? Certainly the tension between the two chambers is extraordinary. But the immigration issue was historically one of Trump's strong suits. I think the American public generally wants stronger borders. But then what happened in Minnesota with the ICE enforcement, the sort of chaos and the practices sort of weakened his popularity on that, gave Democrats an opening to demand these changes. That was very interesting last night. There was a small press conference, barely attended by media, of Brian Fitzpatrick and Tom Suozzi, two members of the Problem Solvers Caucus, and they have a very intriguing idea to sort of pass some of these reforms. A Congress that's more open to compromise would probably embrace something like that, but it's such a long shot. They're even talking about a discharge petition, a really long shot petition to try to get this done. But Congress is nowhere near grappling with this. But I think if the public were to be consulted, they would want to see some kind of changes to ICE behavior, maybe not having masked agents, being able to go willy-nilly into people's homes.